Hi, welcome to my show. Today's guest is Derek Stadelmeyer.
Hmm.
Welcome, Derek.
Welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And I met Derek at the Theosophical Society. I
Hmm.
was talking about something. I don't remember. What was the topic?
It
Do you remember?
was,
Because I've been there a couple of times.
yeah, it was two
The mother
different mother,
energy.
yeah, the mother
The
energies,
different
yeah.
mother
Hmm.
energies. Yes, the nurturing mother and the rainbow mother.
Hmm.
Yes. And he, so you ended up hearing that talk, and
Hmm.
then we ended up
Well,
running
and I know
in.
I know Sandy as well.
And yes, and
So
she's
it's,
on the board of the
hmm,
Theosophical Society. So, but then we ended up running into each other again
yeah.
at the Holistic Fair in the Unity Church of Farmington Hills
Hmm.
recently, and this is when I got to learn about you.
Yep.
You gave me this card. We don't have a thing of it, but it's called Avatar: The Compassion Project.
Yes.
So the name is very attractive.
Hmm.
It's I was telling you how it's much needed these days.
Yeah.
But when I went and did some research, I found that this is kind of started a little while back,
Hmm.
and so. And in your case, you've been involved for a while, and you've now a licensed avatar master.
Yes.
So, can you tell us just a little bit about how you discovered Avatar? And I have some videos that explain that a little bit further. But
Hmm.
how did you find out about it and got involved?
Well, it I found out about it. I first heard about it from a good friend of mine, maybe 10, 12 years ago, but it wasn't quite the right time. But then about 5 years ago, had a lot of struggles in my life and was really hitting, pretty much every area of my life was not working. And so I began looking for things that would help me out and discovered several things, did several workshops, but uh, when I bumped into this, and I did the 2-day resurfacing workshop and found it to be very helpful. But the biggest thing was that after the course, after the 2-day workshop, I was still able to use the tools to help me in a lot of the things I was struggling with. And so it was the first thing that really gave me the power to start using tools to kind of reclaim my life.
Was this a local workshop, or did you have to go
Yeah,
somewhere?
this was
It was. It was
the
in
2-day
Michigan.
workshop was in University District,
Okay.
and then fairly soon after that, I moved on and did the full Avatar course and the master's course, which is the second part where you learn to become you get a provisional license. And so you learn how to deliver the materials, which is, I didn't intend to become a delivering master, but there's some just amazing tools and just amazing pieces to it. It's so much of the master's course is about connection, and that was an area that I knew I needed some help with.
And you've been involved in work. I mean, I don't know. I've never taken the Avatar course, and I
Hmm.
know there's some that you're going to mention that are coming up.
Hmm.
But you seem kind of like involved in work that has some kind of a same heart nature, which is you were in the Peace Corps, a volunteer for 3 years at the Dominican Republic.
Hmm.
What was that experience like, and how would you kind of relate to what's happening, or how you got involved in this? Because they kind of do seem to
Hmm.
have a tie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. I think the Peace Corps was amazing. I wanted to travel, and I wanted to make a difference, but I also wanted the experience of really seeing a different part of the world. And I remember when I first went in and was interviewed for the Peace Corps, the guy that interviewed me asked me about my motivations and what was I, and it's like, and he wanted to be very clear that I had some personal reasons for doing it, that it wasn't altruistic. And he said that the Peace Corps, 2 years is a long time if you don't have some personal reasons. So the ideal candidates, and this was a long time ago, I don't know if it was the same for everybody, but the ideal candidates have some personal goals as well as altruistic goals. They want to make a difference, but it's not all about other people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really you have to start where you're at, and there are people that Mother Teresa. There's people that live in service, but most people aren't ready to start there.
Well, and having said that, what you just said right now, that you have to start where you're at, and you said that there
Hmm.
was a story that I had mentioned that
Yeah.
stuck with you because it's kind of similar to what you guys are kind of trying to teach. And I don't know. I mean, I know what the story is,
Right.
but if you want to share.
Yeah, I think it was about you were doing some remodeling.
Yes.
And kind of claiming some primary space in your house for your own workspace.
Yes, and that was a good point because at that time I was like a struggling writer. I guess you could say that I was experiencing a hard time writing a book that I was working on, and I just didn't feel complete as a writer. I was trying to get somewhere, and so what I started doing is I started living like a successful full-time writer would live. So when we were remodeling the house, I made sure that the room, it was still my office, but it was just kind of like, just the desk and the books, and it wasn't my ideal. And sometimes our ideal is like, okay, when this happens, then I'll do this or that. But I decided that I'm just going to do my ideal office where it's going to be my full-time workspace and treat myself as such. And that was before my book finished. That was before my career started rolling in a different direction. And so I created that shift where I was at. And so you're saying that this is kind of Avatar is kind of similar to that, where we start that whatever we're trying, the compassion or whatever, it's like rather than getting frustrated out in the world and wanting to be a Mother Teresa, there's plenty of us to do right where we're standing.
Yeah, and I think that the thing that really struck me about that story is how that's how it is for most people, is that something from one point of view, it makes no sense. That, I can't do that. This isn't how it's supposed to be. And then, but there's another viewpoint that, well, this is what I'm trying to create. I need to create what I'm intending. And so, from one viewpoint, something doesn't make sense, and then from another viewpoint, it does. And I think most people are only used to the viewpoint that they're used to. And so a lot of the Avatar materials are geared towards helping people or giving people the tools to change their perspectives, to see what different things feel like. Because if you hadn't ever made that shift, things would be not the way that they are.
Exactly. And also the satisfaction and the shift that I made, then I didn't have so much dependence on something happening, because it felt like, okay, I made it happen. So what do I really need? Do I need that validation from the world? Because you kind of validate yourself at that point once you take on the life that you want or the behaviors that you want. It does change your perspective. And then now you're not depending on an outside factor. You're not depending on somebody in leadership to change your life. You're not depending on a publisher changing your life. Even your spouse, actually, sometimes you have that dependence, like, well, if you did this, I would have more time for this. But if you gave to yourself that time without your spouse, then you would take away weight off of that, and actually your relationship would be better in that case. So and then there are some, before we go into that, because I know that there is these the compassion exercise, you're going to go over that, but I have a little video that kind of explains Avatar a little bit more, and then we'll go back and do the exercises. Okay.
When consciousness orients itself with the heart instead of the brain, people change.
Welcome to the Stars Age Trainer International Avatar course in Orlando, Florida.
I really knew very little about it other than this poster that was
in my office.
Yeah.
Compassion exercise.
Yes, the compassion exercise, and it said something about avatar, and I thought that's remarkable. I'm curious.
Something was missing. Just looking for a way to continue to develop myself, to improve upon myself. That's something I'm very passionate about. And so when I kind of bumped into Adam, we had a conversation on a bus in Mexico, and then from there everything kind of fell into place.
My first experience of Avatar tools started when I chose to be here. That helped me see that when our intention is so aligned and we want to create something, that we're able to do it.
I was able to label some experiences in my life in ways that allowed my mind to become engaged with what the experience was about rather than just my emotions. And that was a tremendous relief.
It's pretty interesting having my wife and 2 kids, watching them explore and discover different things about themselves and their beliefs and experiences at the different rates, and seeing each one make breakthroughs at different times, and then have the realizations. It's really cool. So it's really great to be able to sort of be here with them, support them through it, and see that growth. It's fun. It's good.
This year I just had a very powerful feeling or decision that I was ready and it was time to do it. It feels good to do it as a family.
It's something that you wouldn't learn in school, that's for sure.
I learned a lot more about myself while doing Avatar.
I'm more of a logical, rational type of individual, and so I appreciate the logical way to get into the feelings, like with some of the feeling exercises and things like that, because it was easy to kind of wrap my head around it, and then from that place, then I could allow myself to kind of sink into it and just, feel.
You're just getting exciting more and more for every day coming.
These precious children are not indoctrinated with conditioning from their parents like I was. I was raised with a lot of limiting beliefs.
This is really very profound and transformational work, and I had no idea that I needed to do any work at all. I'm a therapist. I don't need to do my own work.
I mean, it's been a powerful experience. I mean, there's definitely been moments of just very light laughter and kind of just joking around, and then followed by a session of just like deep introspection and really looking into yourself, discovery.
I thought I was kind of already on top of this stuff, and it would just be an interesting experience. Little did I know it would actually be so deeply and profoundly impacting and meaningful.
So one other thing that comes out of the identity handle is that an avatar actually contacts intelligent life on this planet other than himself. There's an opening up. There is a love and affinity for other beings. That's the identity handle. It's a blowout. It changes your life.
I'd like to announce Debbie as the newest avatar on the planet. The newest avatar on the planet.
When we perceive that the only difference between us is our beliefs, and that the beliefs can be created or discreated with ease, the right and wrong game will wind down, a co-create game will unfold, and world peace will ensue. Bringing about this realization is the mission of Avatar.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Mhm.
Especially the mission.
Yeah.
The message is really great.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah, so-
well, I just want to mention also. So you're having upcoming classes. I know we're going to mention that, but based on these people that they were showing, they're just taking classes.
Well,
Most of them.
Yeah, that's from the last July's international course. So that was in Orlando.
Okay.
And so they 4 times a year there are international courses. The next one starts January 12th and runs through the 20th. And not every ideally people stay for the full 9-day course, but some people create 2 days or 7 days out of it.
So the ones that you have are involved in, when are they? Are that the ones coming up?
Yeah, so I'll be in the January 12th, and then in Orlando, and then we're looking at January 5th and 6th, the weekend for a Detroit area 2-day workshop.
Okay, and where can people get information for this?
Well, they can contact me or theavatarcourse.com.
Avatarcourse.com. Okay, and that's going to have even the local courses on there?
No, the local courses are
what's the best way to get a hold of you then?
I'll probably explore-avatar.com.
Okay.
And there's several of us that are local, but look for Derek, and then Bill, Bob, and Lori are also local Avatar masters, and they're on there as well.
So explore-avatar.com. That's okay, great. And where do you have them?
I've done I've done some in my house and some in University District. It's a little the local ones we have a lot of freedom to do what works for us and for the people that are taking the workshop.
So then now we have this little exercise thing. Okay, this is fun. Okay.
Yeah, so this is the compassion exercise, and it's part of the Compassion Project, and So the initial goal was to increase the amount of compassion in the world and get 1 million cards into the world. And now we're working on our 6th million, and it's been translated into 34 languages. So these cards are all over the planet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so the idea, what you want to do is think of somebody that you'd like to have more compassion for. It could be some difficulty or just somebody you don't feel as connected to as you'd like, but you put your attention on somebody specific. And anybody in your audience that's watching, you can do this. You should do this as well. So do you have somebody in mind?
Yes, I do.
All right, so I will guide you. So step 1, with attention on the person, repeat to yourself, just like me, this person is seeking some happiness for his or her life.
Just like me, this person is seeking some happiness for her life.
And step 2, with attention on the person, repeat to yourself, just like me, this person is trying to avoid suffering in his or her life.
Just like me, this person is trying to avoid suffering in her life.
Step 3, with attention on the person, repeat to yourself, just like me, this person has known sadness, loneliness, and despair.
Just like me, this person has known sadness, loneliness, and despair.
Step 4, with attention on the person, repeat to yourself, just like me, this person is seeking to fulfill his or her needs.
Just like me, this person is seeking to fulfill her needs.
And step 5, with attention on the person, repeat to yourself, just like me, this person is learning about life.
Just like me, this person is learning about life. Oh, it's kind of touching. I almost... Yeah, because I'm thinking of this person, and sometimes you get caught up in the story of, what happens between you and that person, and then you take the humanness out of it. And you don't mean to, like, you can really love that person very much, but you kind of don't see that they're experiencing maybe all of these same similar experiences. I like that.
Yeah, it's a wonderful exercise, and I've bumped into people, and it's like, I've had this on my fridge for 2 years. And the stories of how this exercise affects people. And
yeah, you know what? When you gave me this card, because again, like even though we had met at the Theosophical Society, but the holistic fair is when you gave me this card, and I have to say that this mattered when I read the compassion exercise. I didn't use it though, so that's why I felt differently. I just liked it, and I felt like I should use it. So there was an intent there, and it took you making me say these words. But it's like we know in our heart we want to be there, and sometimes we're not investing enough time maybe into something it's just so little. I mean, imagine if every day we were to say that about somebody that's in our life, that there might be that kind of a tension, or there might be some kind of an misunderstanding or something going on with them.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and if you look at the mission of Avatar, it brings us creates more connection between people, and just makes differences feel less important. So yeah, it's such a beautiful exercise, and thank you for doing it. It's,
oh no, yeah, actually, thank you. I really liked it. I wasn't expecting to do it, but I did enjoy doing it. And I have another video, and now I see why the people were saying what they said. This is a much shorter video. It's like 30 seconds, but people just kind of expressing how they felt. And if we can, within like just 5 steps, I mean, that probably just took a minute or so.
Right, and that's the space that the Avatar tools work on, is at an experiential level. You feel what they feel like, and so it's a very different experience than what most people are used to. And one of the things, the website, I do introductions for people before they come to a workshop. We'll set something over the phone, and it usually take about 45 minutes or an hour, and explore this and some of the other exercises from the 2-day workshop, so they get a feel for how the tools apply to their lives.
Oh, okay. So there's a connection even before they even participate. Okay,
exactly.
That's great. So I'm going to show the other video now.
What I loved about the Avatar course is that it helped me feel more connected and kinder with myself and others.
What I loved about Avatar was this feeling of the world coming together and everyone learning how to work with each other in a way that is so needed on our planet right now.
With the Avatar course, I got my power back. Before that, my life, I just didn't understand why I wasn't producing and creating what I wanted. And finally, I got my power back.
Come join us!
The one guy that said about getting his power back, because I was going to say, even just from doing this little exercise, aside from the connectingness part, but it does serve you, just like when you said that when you went to the Peace Corps and they said, you're also benefiting somehow. Well, in doing this, you kind of get lighter. It's kind of like when we're cleaning out our home or cleaning out our desks, whatever we're cleaning, our files, our emails. So that weight is taking off of us, and we can perform better and we can produce better. I think this, to me, just in this few minutes, I felt like this is, I could see that happening. And then when the guy was saying it felt empowering that he could produce, I said, yeah, I can really see that happening, because there's so much emotional, sometimes negativity and things tied to us that weigh us down, but we're not aware of it.
Yeah, so I mean, so much of it is, you get an experience of feeling lighter, an experience of letting go, an experience of things just washing away, and one of the things. So at the beginning of the 2-day workshop, you set an intention. You have a debrief, and you check, this is what I'm intending to do, and at the end, you say, this is what happened, and you're the judge of what your results were. And it's just very self-guided, and you apply the exercises to what you're trying to do in your life, and whatever that is. And so the results are completely different for everybody, but the results are very personal and very profound.
So what is this, on a more personal level, what does this mean for you, and where do you see yourself going with it, like growing with it?
Well, the results for me have really been, taking control of my life, feeling like I'm guiding my life instead of life happening to me. and learning to make more and more of a difference, and surrounding myself with wonderful people. And how do you bring about a different world? I mean, there's the world is not working for so many people, and I think so many people look at it like they're the problem, and it's that the world, there's a lot of changes that need to happen.
That is such an excellent point. So I had not long ago another guest. We were just talking about this, and I brought up that there's a recent report that shows that the life expectancy in the U.S. is the lowest since I think like the 1950s, due to drug addiction and suicide, the suicide rate and the drug addiction. And I thought, how sad. I mean, we're the most powerful country in the world, and that we have and it's a lot of it is because of these feelings that people don't understand, the hopelessness, people feeling like they don't have a purpose, that disconnect that's happening, that a person feels like it's less painful to leave the earth than to try to resolve this somehow. So the need, based on that report in itself, is obviously there. And we're not just talking about, aside from things like depression, people having the mental illnesses that are happening and the depression and everything else, but that in itself, that so many people are leaving the earth before it's their time, for something that's probably curable, because it's just emotional and just them feeling so disconnected.
Yeah, I think, I mean, if you're the problem, you have the chance to be the solution. And I think so much of it ties into being able to feel a deeper navigation inside yourself, as opposed to all the prescriptions that come from outside that we feel so strongly. This is, we're supposed to do this, and then this, and then this, and be married at this age, and get this job at this age. And it just disconnects people from, what they feel. And so once you start to recognize your own intuition, your own impulses, and scrape away some of the messages that just don't work.
Yes, I agree. And I think we touched on that earlier about like starting where you're at. If there's something that you want to change, you can just start where you're at with what you have, and to know that there are communities. Once you start putting that intent out there, I'm running out of time, but once you put that intent out there, you will find communities that are similar to yours, and like something like this is a wonderful, wonderful project. Again, if you could just tell me the dates real quickly for your next, and then because so
January 5th and 6th will be a local 2-day workshop, and then the 12th through the 20th in Orlando, Florida. And I'd be happy to share this and other exercises with anybody that's interested.
Okay, thank you very much, and it was fun having you here, and thank you for the exercise.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Really appreciate it.